going on, guys? What's going on, guys? It is I, Blue Dream. What's going on, guys? It is I, Blue Dream 47, coming back at you with another video. And if you've been playing Killer for a while, you probably know how strong the Made for This Hope meta was. Recently, with the Chucky DLC, they nerfed it so that you can only get the speed boost when you're in deep wounds. So we don't really have to worry about it too much these days. But back in the day, if you were playing as Killer, it was more than problematic. People would run Made for This, which when injured would give you a 3% increased movement speed while running, which on its own was very strong and would enable you to couple extra loops on certain loops and stuff like that. It was very strong, but people would also combine it with Hope. Hope is a perk that once all the generators are completed, you move at 7% increased speed, which is very strong. I've actually always thought of Hope as a pretty unhealthy perk for the game. Like, I don't think any survivor should ever just get like free movement speed without exhaustion or some other side effect. A lot of people say that Hope and Made for This was a very strong combo and kind of took away a lot of fun from the game as a killer and kind of took away the core fundamentals of mind gaming, because with certain killers, you know, if you didn't have a power that could increase your speed to catch up with them, Wesker, Blight, Nurse, etc., a survivor could run across the entire map. I even had an instance where I was playing on stream and a survivor, I was playing as Trickster, and a survivor was able to literally run across the entire map, even with NOED, because they were running Hope and Made for This. I ran out of knives, I couldn't, go and reload, and they were able to run from one side of Lampkin all the way to the other side of the map, and there was nothing I could do. No pallets were dropped, no windows, they just held forward with Shift and W and made it out. If you have this experience as a killer, you know that it's a very strong combo, and it definitely deserved the nerf. I still think personally that the fact that you can still get that speed, like if you get put into deep wounds in the end game and you're running Hope and MFT, you will still get that speed. I think that's ridiculous. If you've been playing, you know how strong this combo is. And I just wanted to show you this kind of wild take from somebody who appears to definitely be a survivor. So also with the Chucky, with the release of Chucky, we have seen a new perk called Batteries Included. Now, Batteries Included is a perk that gives the killer 5% movement speed increased when they're standing in proximity of a completed generator, which is a very interesting perk. I think it's pretty cool, but a lot of survivor mains are saying that this is actually stronger than MFT. This is the equivalent, which I think is just ridiculous. Anyway, we're going to be looking at this that was sent to me, actually. This is a TikTok, and we're just kind of going to dive into this. I just want to say, for the record, that this person is in no way, shape, or form being toxic. Nothing like that. They just simply have a take that I disagree with. So we're going to be looking at this, but in no way, shape, or form is this somebody who should be harassed or anything like that. If you do find out this person's name, don't be an asshole on the internet. Of course, we're just going to dive into this, and I'm going to give my 2 cents on their take, etc. All right, so yeah, this was sent to me, and this is talking about NOED plus Batteries Included being compared to Made for This and Hope. Oh, here we go. Let's see.
I do not want to hear a single other killer main talk crap about the Made for This Hope combo, because after this next patch, Batteries Included is going to be reverted back to its original state from the PTB, meaning that at endgame, NOED and Batteries Included will have full synergy together again. Like, I get that Made for This and Hope was a strong duo, But NOED and batteries included is just as strong, if not stronger than that combo. So how does that make sense in behavior's eyes? Like, just when we get the nerf for Made for This, which would have been able to counter this duo, by the way, they revert batteries included back to its original state. Like, make it make sense. I don't understand.
So what she's saying is that NOED plus batteries included is even stronger than Hope and Made for This because it gives the killer 5% movement speed plus 4%. I believe it's 4, right? Yeah, it's 4% movement speed, so you get 9. You get 9 compared to 10 from Survivor. Let's just dive into this as to why this is kind of really wrong. I also think she's going about this the wrong way, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But the reason why I disagree with this extremely, number one, let's compare NOED to Made for This. I think they are pretty similar perks, but there's some very clear distinctions between the two. Number one, Made for This requires you to do absolutely nothing, and you get a lot of value. You get 3% increased movement speed, which as a survivor, your goal is to run away as long as possible. So this is guaranteed time that you're buying by simply holding Shift and W and running, right? You also get the 2-in-1 effect with one perk. With the endurance side, when you heal somebody else, when you pick them up, complete a healing action, you get 10 whole seconds of endurance, which is very considerable on its own. If that side of Made for This was one perk, that would be really strong. Now we'll compare that to NOED, which NOED is a perk that you also don't have to do anything to get value out of it. All of the gens have to be completed. You have to essentially do bad in the game, and suddenly all survivors are exposed. On top of that, you get an increased movement speed. But there's a very clear distinction between the two perks. And what is that, you might ask? That is the fact that NOED is a hex. NOED is a hex and can be taken away. In fact, I run NOED quite a bit on my Pyramid Head as well as other killers, and I cannot tell you the amount of times that I have had NOED stripped away. Just taken away within like 20 seconds of the last gen popping, because NOED actually received a very, very significant nerf, which enables survivors to see its aura with an increasing range as you go further into the end game, which is like a pretty considerable nerf. I still think NOED is a really good perk. So this is the clear distinction in that Made for This cannot be taken away at all, whereas NOED can. You can take it away from the killer, right? Now we're gonna compare Hope to batteries included. So batteries included is a new perk that came out with Chucky, and the way it works, as I described earlier, is when you are standing around a completed generator, you get a 5% increased movement speed. And I believe, let's take a look at how far that range is. So batteries included will only give you value if you are within 12 meters of a completed generator. 12 meters. If you need some kind of scope for this, it's about the length of Pyramid Head's max length M2, or about the length of Shack, something like that, which is not that far, right? It's not that far. This effect also lingers for 5 seconds after leaving the generator's range. So, you know, considering chases and stuff, yeah, that's quite considerable. Now, what is the clear distinction between this and Hope? Hope, you get 7% increased speed, and it does not go away, no matter what. With batteries included, you have to be near a completed generator, which if you're in the end game, yeah, it might be a bit hard to avoid, completed generators, but it's still possible, right? Like, it's still possible to not go towards a completed generator, at least for a little bit. Now, we're also going to take into account the fact that if the killer has batteries included and NOED, they're only going to be going 9% faster, whereas if a survivor has made for this and hope, they're going to be going a solid 10% faster. So even just by the numbers, made for this and hope is better. Is better. Just looking at it statistically, right? Like just looking at the perks themselves, you can make a clear distinction that one is stronger than the other. Like there is a reason that they nerfed made for this, right? So I don't know, man. I really think that this person just plays a little bit too much Survivor and just, you know, kind of there's a bit of bias there. I also think that the way that they started this TikTok was really like I feel like it's almost bait, because the way that she starts it is very much so like baiting killer mains. Like, I don't want to hear another killer main complain about this. And I don't think that was the right way to go about it. Like, I don't know much about this person. She doesn't seem like very toxic or whatever. I just think there's a bit of bias, but she was definitely baiting with this for sure. I think the proper way to go about this would have been something like, if you disagree with me, that's fine. This is my opinion. And this is purely what I think. If you think differently, that's okay. But instead, she went with,
I do not want to hear a single other killer main talk crap about the made for this hope combo.
You know,
after this next patch,
it's not really great. Anyway, let's take a look at the comments. There's a lot of comments people have made, and no surprising. It's very mixed, very mixed. But yeah, let's take a look. This person commented, it's really not the same. MFT plus Hope had 10% haste, free, no requirement other than being injured, which, yeah, like statistically, yes, like you can just look at the numerical value of both perks. And I just like we're just ignoring numbers now. Like it's like we're just ignoring like literal numbers in front of you. It's because killer mains love to cry. So you can already see like we're getting some pretty like there's some Survivor main energy going on in here, which is just kind of gross. And we're trash though for running meta perks, but this is what most killers are gonna run. And then she said literally, that's just kind of gross, actually. Like all these comments, you can counter it by cleansing 5 totems. Exactly, like that's the biggest thing, is that you can take NOED away before it even has the chance to activate. Like when NOED was first introduced, that's what a lot of really strong Swifts would do. Like every totem would just get cleansed. Like it doesn't really take too long for a Swift, and even just like one player. Like if you run Counter-Strike, the Jill perk, you can take out every totem on the map in like not that long amount of time. But yeah, I don't know. Killers are such crybabies. Ugh. This is literally a Survivor crying. I wouldn't say she's crying, but Jesus, man. Let's see. We got one here. MFT plus Hope was literally impossible to counter. NOED plus batteries isn't unstoppable. You can just cleanse NOED. It's a very niche build. I like, come on, dude. Like that's just facts. Like I don't even know. The fact that people are even arguing against this, like, game wants more killers. Most killers are babies, so we can't use good perks. They literally don't want survivors to survive. What? 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 Okay. MFT is free 3%. NOED is cleansable. Exactly. It's just facts, like facts and logic. NOED is almost always a guaranteed kill, which is not healthy. Almost always. That is so false. Like that is so false. NOED. It's like you take a gamble with NOED. Like sometimes you can get a kill. I think one thing about NOED that I think they could change is if you hook a survivor too close to NOED, like maybe the NOED moves or something. Like I think that would be fine, because the only instance in where NOED is like a guaranteed kill is when you hook a survivor right next to the NOED totem. That's like the only instance. Just stay away from gens. Also potentially 4 people with 10%. Compared to 1 killer with 9%. Yeah, like there you go. It's that's something that I didn't touch on earlier as well, is that the fact that you can have 4 survivors who can take hits for each other running with a 10% increase compared to a 9. It's like you're still getting more than than like the killer, right? They didn't even need to change MFT, just turn hope into a boon, but it only activates the boon once powered by gates, like NOED. I don't know. I don't think that's great. I don't think hope should be a boon. I think hope should, like, I don't know what they could do with hope, to be honest. I just don't think it's like a healthy perk for the game. I don't know what they should or could do with it, but yeah, it's an idea for sure. And she also said, I'm not an entitled survivor main. I play both sides equally. Like, maybe she does, but I do think there's a bit of bias there. Like maybe she just hasn't gone up against like too many. Like maybe she just hasn't gone against too many like 4-man Swifts running Hope and MFT. But I'll tell you something, man. Like recently I did the hardcore killer challenge, and where if I lose a single game as a killer, I lose that killer and can't use them for the rest of the season until I get to Eerie 1. There was a couple killers that I actually lost purely because of Hope and MFT. Like the first one that comes to mind is I was playing as Pinhead, and I had a survivor at Shack. They were on Death Hook, like dead to rights, and the last gen popped, and their Hope and MFT, kicked in. As I was like about to lunge, and then the last gen pops, and they went faster and actually outran my lunge, dropped Shack Pallet, and were able to run across the entire map. And this was on Mother's Dwelling, by the way. They were able to run across the entire map and get out. So, yeah, like I think maybe she just hasn't gone against a lot of like Hope MFT gamers and stuff, which, to be fair, like you do kind of have to be in like pretty high MMR and also play for like quite a while to really see what it's like. So I don't know. Like I'm sure she does play both sides, but maybe just not enough on killer or something. I don't know. She posted a follow-up video talking about this, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys this. So she's responding to the comment about that this person had. It's really not the same. MFT plus Hope had 10% haste, free, no requirement other than being injured. So this is what she had to say to that.
BS to say that Made for This and Hope is stronger than NOED and batteries included. Like, guys, I've been playing DBD for 7 years. I totally understand that NOED is a hex and that you can cleanse it, so you guys can stop commenting that. I understand. But, like, the critical thing about NOED that everybody's forgetting to understand is that NOED doesn't really take any skill to operate, whereas Made for This and Hope does. So when you're going against a Made for This and Hope user who's actually very good at using it, you're going to be going against a survivor that actually knows how to loop, because it actually requires skill to use that combo efficiently. Whereas with NOED and batteries included, pretty much any killer can get easy downs this way. It doesn't really require much skill. And on top of that, if the killer is camping the totem and has a hook survivor next to that totem, like anywhere in the vicinity, there is nothing you can do as the survivor. It is
Yeah,
completely
okay.
yes.
So she does make a good point there at the end, and that's something I agree with that they could change about NOED for sure. Like if you get hooked right next to the NOED totem, it is really punishing because even if you heal, it's like everyone's exposed. There's nothing really you can do. I think it's a pretty simple fix, honestly, for the devs. Like they could just make, if you hook somebody close enough to NOED, that NOED just moves, and then if there's no other totem, it just like deactivates after a certain amount of time or like something like that, you know? I think it's a pretty simple fix, but I think more people need to speak up about that. Anyway, though, the biggest thing though that she's saying is that NOED doesn't take any skill. Yes, I agree with that. NOED doesn't really take too much skill. It's just a perk that gives you exposed with movement speed. It doesn't take any skill. But then she's also saying that MFT plus hope does take skill, which again, I gotta say, I just don't think that she's gone against enough hope MFT users when you were still able to do that, because I literally, like, the amount of times that I would have a survivor just hold shift and W across the entire map and escape because they're moving 10% faster, like a lot of times, and that is one of the most frustrating things because it takes away the core fundamentals of the game. There's no mind games, there's no nothing. It's just desperately trying to catch up and get bloodlust, which a lot of times you can't because they're actually breaking chase by just going so fast and avoiding your line of sight. Just trying to catch up and doing everything you can, but there's nothing you can do. You know, this is why things get nerfed. It's because there's nothing you can do. It's too overpowered, right? She's saying that it takes skill, but in a lot of ways, no, it doesn't. And the reason that it's so problematic is because if you have skill, it's going to give you an unfair advantage. But even if you don't have skill, it's still giving you an advantage that is insanely strong, right? Like on a really skilled player, it's overpowered. Like it's actually overpowered. But on a player that's with no skill, you can still just hold shift and W across the map, right? This is why it was nerfed. It's, but the fact that you can still get that value is insane. Anyway, obviously I disagree with this, but in no way, shape, or form is she being toxic. She's just stating her opinion, right? And this is something that a lot of people need to understand, is that people can have differing opinions and still have respect for each other. I'm sure this is a great person. She seems really nice. Maybe there's a bit of bias there, whatever. She seems really nice though. She seems like a nice lady. But anyway, let's read the comments. Let's see what people are saying about this. Sorry, but how does MFT and Hope take skill? Which I agree with that. Hope requires gens done, so you need to stay alive till the end game, and Made for This only gives you one more loop if you know how to loop. Okay, well he's saying that you have to get the gens done. Getting the gens done doesn't take skill either, other than like skill checks, which if you've been playing the game for like 50 hours or less even, like its skill checks are not hard to hit at all. Anyway, Made for This and Hope requires skill. Bro, I remember one time in Toba Landing, a ghost face was chasing through the end game. The gate was far away. Let's see. And then she actually commented back, I just think speed doesn't matter a whole bunch if you know how to mind game. I never really noticed MFT Hope on survivors when I played Killer. So the only way that you can really mind game against like a Hope MFT user in the end game was if you had a Killer with a speed power, like Wesker, Blight, Nurse, even like Clown, like it's so gross because like Clown's gas, they would still run at they would run at just a normal speed with Hope and MFT. They would just run at like a normal speed because Clown's gas only slows them down so much. So like it's crazy. Like, and then even with killers like Slinger and Huntress, just trying to land that shot because they move left and right so fast, it was way too punishing, like way too punishing. I'm sorry, but yes, NOED doesn't take skill, but Hope and MFT doesn't either. I don't think running the same speed as a 110 killer is skillful at all. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that a lot. Let's see. And then she commented back, making the correct decisions in chase definitely takes skill. It's not like they're running unlimited sprint burst. But like they kind of are though. Like, you're not going as fast as sprint burst, but you're going a heck of a lot faster than you normally would. Like 10% is really considerable. Let's see. MFT had a counter, Blood Echo. The no exhaustion requirement was never taken advantage of because people would rather complain than adapt. Blood Echo really didn't like... I don't like that. Like Blood Echo is such a weak perk just to counter one perk, and not everyone was running it. Like a lot of people were. I think a lot more people ran Fearmonger. I think Fearmonger was kind of the better choice, to be honest. I've even heard about people running Fearmonger and Blood Echo, but that's the crazy thing. Like, you shouldn't be running that many perks just to exhaust people to avoid their like speed-based perks. I don't know. Okay, I agree with this so much, dude. This person says, nah, MFT Hope doesn't take skill. NOED and batteries doesn't either. Haste stacking in general is unhealthy. I agree with that so much, dude. I don't think that haste should be able to stack. Whichever perk is giving you the most should be enough, right? Like that's the one, and then everything else just stops, right? I don't think behavior realizes when they release perks that they're going to synergize with other perks. Like, I really don't think that they knew that MFT was going to stack with Hope. I don't think they realized that. But yeah, I agree with this a lot. I don't think haste should stack at all. And I also think that any haste that you get without some sort of like repercussion or downside should not exist in the game. I don't think it's healthy at all. It takes away a lot of core fundamentals of the game and just creates punishing scenarios simply because you ran a perk. And then, so what do you think? What do you think? Do you think that old MFT and Hope combining, do you think that that is not as strong as NOED with batteries included? Or do you think that batteries included and NOED is kind of niche? What's your guys' take? Let me know down in the comments. I just want to reiterate, in no way, shape, or form do we condone toxicity or harassment. Nobody, if you go and harass people from my videos, we do not claim you. You are not part of my community. My videos are purely just for the sake of education and entertainment. So again, this lady seems she doesn't seem toxic. I just wanted to share this and kind of start a debate and see what you guys think about it. So yeah, let me know what let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to smash like. Check me out on Twitch. I go live 4 or 5 times a week, and would love to see you over there. So take care, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.